So Deepak, it would be really helpful if you could tell us a little bit about how people can maybe help deal with the different kinds of pains that they get with their EPP.
Okay, thank you, Liz. I have a kind of acronym which will make it easier for the youngsters with EPP. So I call it like the pain-free mindset. And it's because we need to almost, it's a lifelong condition with EPP. But if you have a mindset of knowing how to tackle it, then you will make sure that you can manage it well. So what are the features of the mindset? The first is M is medications. You have the topical or creams of non-steroidals, the ibuprofens, maybe the steroid creams. But when the nervous system is sensitive, there are certain nerve kind of medications which the patients can talk to their GP or to their pain specialist to try out. There may be medications that act and dampen the system. The names are called amitriptyline. I won't go more into that, but there are medicines that they can discuss with a GP to try. Then I've got I, which is for intervention. Sometimes if the nerves are very sensitive, they may require some other forms of interventions or more infusions, but that again is something they may have to ask the GP to do. But there are so many things that the patients themselves can do, and that brings me to the end, is kind of understanding the nervous system itself. Things that will make them stressed. Any kind of stress is going to make the nervous system think that it has to protect itself some more, so it will get more sensitive, and if they're already recovering from a flare, that can make the pain worse. So trying to find ways of managing the stress, breathing techniques, relaxation techniques can all dampen the system very well. Things they can find out on the internet, good sources and websites which the BPA can signpost them to will be really good. Then you come to the D, which is the diet and nutrition. And what I found out very recently in the last 2-3 years is that when your nervous system is sensitive, your immune system also gets sensitized. And if your immune system is sensitive, your patients will be surprised to know that 80% of your immune system is in and around your intestine. So what you eat is going to make the immune system more inflamed, which means if you are able to reduce the kind of inflammatory foods you eat, you potentially can have an anti-inflammatory effect and reduce a percentage of your pain. That means trying to reduce some of the more sugary foods, so cutting down on processed foods, cutting down on sugar-based drinks, cutting down on high fatty oil-based content. All of that are good things to look at. If they Google antioxidant foods, they will come across a whole series of fruits and vegetables which make a powerful difference in trying to reduce the inflammation and the oxidation that can happen in EPP flares. So that's the D part. S is sleep is very important. The recommendation I would say is look for between 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Think about having a blue light filter on your smartphones or getting some kind of app that automatically brings down the amount of light towards the evening so that it can induce sleep. And if they were to Google sleep hygiene, you will find that on the top of it is to avoid coffee after 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and to ensure that they have a kind of sleep routine to get those hours of sleep. E is for exercise. Any form of movement, doesn't have to be 10,000 steps, but any kind of physical movement that they enjoy, that they like, that their pleasure comes from. And if they can do it for about 15 to 20 minutes with a good, powerful song that lifts their spirit, that is enough exercise to get the serotonin and the mood chemicals going through, and that can also help. And finally, the T, which is the therapies of mind and body. And here I would ask them to look at things like mindfulness-based practice. I know it's difficult for a teenager or a student to think about it, but if you can think of 2 top tips. One is called progressive muscular relaxation. It's a nice technique to bring about reduction in the muscle tension that comes when you have a flare of pain. It's an easy technique to learn and worth doing. The second one is called a body scan, which is accompanied by a kind of breathing. I think the breathing technique would be a 3-4-5 technique. You breathe in for 3 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and then breathe out for 5 seconds. These two techniques, if they are able to learn, they'll be able to find that they can break the cycle of pain sometimes and the flare-up that can occur. And if you know this technique well enough and repeat it and do it, then it just changes the nerves in that area, changes the nerve circuits in the spinal cord and in the brain. And the combination can make sure that they can always handle any flares. You know, it's almost like building up a backpack of good tools to have when you get an EPP flare. So that would be kind of a long 5-minute top tips for managing EPP.
That's amazing. Thank you.